The sooner you file your return, and if you file electronically, the sooner you can get your money back.
What problems are you facing? Are you always filing late? Is it always a scramble? Is it always stressful? Because you want your money back in your pocket in Q1. Let's prepare now for it so we can get this thing across the finish line quick.
Boldly retake what is rightfully yours.
You're getting refund on your taxes in October from all the taxes you paid last year. It could be a year and a half that money was sitting in the government's bank that's owed to you. If you plan, if you have your documents in order, I would argue it is really fun to receive money.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Hidden Money Podcast. Kevin and I are excited to be here and talk to you about the importance of filing early so you can get your refund early, if you're getting a refund at all. There's an interesting statistic. In 2024, 64% of tax return filers, 64% of tax return filers got a refund. Most people say, hey, that's great. You go look at on April 15th, go Google April 15th or YouTube April 15th, man on the street interviews about tax refunds. People will say, hey, I got a refund. I didn't pay taxes. No, sir, you probably paid taxes. But also what you did, if you got a refund, you gave the federal government an interest-free loan. That was your money. They had it. They're not paying you interest on it. Could have been in your checking account. You could have been earning interest. You could have had a savings account, a money market account, made serious interest. You could have made investments. You could have had an improved lifestyle. But you gave the government an interest-free loan. Get your money back quick.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem is you may be paying withholding as a W-2 earner all year. And then we have some people who want to just, I don't want to file taxes, and they just want to wait. And they're
file in October.
They're going to file in October, and they get their refund in October. You're getting refund on your taxes in October from all the taxes you paid last year. It could be a year and a half that money was sitting in the government's bank that's owed to you.
That's your money.
It's your money, and you let it sit there till October. Now, there's some reasons
the federal government appreciates you. Yeah. Scott Bassent says, thank you for letting me borrow your money. We don't have enough because we spend it all.
Yeah, and now...
How do you feel about that? Seriously, think about it.
Yeah, and the goal now is going to be, how do I get my refund? If you're in a refund situation, which we get clients refunds all the time, and we celebrate them because they pay their withholding, but then we do active tax planning in the year end, and we free up all those withholdings, but we want to file quickly.
Those are mostly our new clients, right? Like existing clients that we have year after year, we're trying to proactively tax plan. Even if they're W-2, there's ways of filing and have changed W-4. If you know what your tax strategy is going to get you back, keep that money over the year instead of shoveling it out to the government. But I get it. A lot of our clients, a lot of my friends and family members like to get that big refund at the end of the year. But you could get it in February or you could get it in November.
That's right, you can. And the earlier you file, it typically takes the IRS about 21 days, according to them, to issue a refund after you file, and that's electronically. If you paper file, which we do not recommend, and we rarely ever paper file unless there's some sort of e-filing mix-up with your social or something, but if you paper file, it is 4 to 6 weeks for them to process and issue a paper
I don't
check.
believe
Or
that.
just
For some of our clients that had to paper file,
with the government shutdown, it's way longer.
I mean, we're talking 6-8 months. We have some clients 22 months out, owe money, like hundreds.
Amended returns are worse.
Yes.
Yeah, amended returns are worse. But these electronic, when you file your tax return, it's typically electronic. An agent's not looking at every single tax return that's filed in this country.
No.
You are filing a tax return, and they are taking your data on your tax return, comparing it to their records, looking for mismatches. If
The computers are doing
the computers are just looking for those mismatches, and if there's none, it just goes to processing.
Yeah.
And then if you're claiming a refund, good, great, you're getting it, and it's going to be electronically deposited into your bank account. But that's where fraud happens, and they're getting better at these mismatches and filing fake tax returns and phony refunds. So there are checks and balances, but for us good paying taxpayers or good filers, you're going to have a pretty standard process, and it's going to be done quickly, and you want to do that sooner than later because you want your money back in your pocket in Q1, so now I can tax plan with my refund for this
your
tax
money.
year.
The government has it. Boldly retake what is rightfully yours. That is our mantra at Revo Taxpayer. That's your money. Don't
don't leave it out
to
there.
The government.
Yeah, and if you could use your refund, if you're getting a big refund this year, use it for tax planning to jumpstart your tax planning. change your withholdings now. And all withholding changes does, let's say you're making $200,000 and you're withholding, let's say 10% every paycheck. So, and that's very light. Just for easy math, you're doing 10%.
I can do that now.
Okay. So, and instead, if we're going to tax plan, and let's say we get your income to zero, and you know this, now there's some risk that maybe the tax plan doesn't execute, and this is what we walk our clients through, say, hey, we're going to do this tax plan, but you may want to pay something in, just not the full amount, because there's a chance that you get hit by a bus and can't manage the property and all this weird stuff, right? But generally speaking, if you have a $200,000 salary and you know we're going to eliminate your income, why pay any withholding in at all? We'll just tax plan against it, or do a very little. Just do 1%. Just put in your own withholding. Say, I'm going to do $50 a paycheck, and your cash flow now is so much higher.
That gives you $40,000 more during the year to plan with, to live with, to do whatever with, or give it to the government. If you like to give interest-free loans, please look Kevin and I up at Revo Taxpayer. We will take that money for you. Interest-free. We promise to give it back, but I'm going to go put it in a very secure money market, earn that 6% interest, 5% interest, and I'll give back to you. Heck, I'll give you 1% interest. The government won't give you any. So please consider that.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So that is what we're trying to really communicate is filing early.
Yeah. You mentioned fraud and filing early. You know, most people, like maybe a lot of people out here don't know it. So let me explain one of the big frauds that happen every year, year after year. We get clients that come to us in like June, new clients or procrastinating clients, or clients that for some reason couldn't file early or on time. And they'll come in June after they've been extended. Let's file. We go prepare the return. We e-file the return. It gets rejected. And the IRS notice or the rejection notice we get on the computer says, sorry, someone has already filed a tax return under this Social Security number. That's a big growing area of fraud in this world. And what they do, these fraudsters, they'll get your Social Security number. They'll find what your W-2 was last year. Find what they'll somehow get your tax transcripts. Sometimes they get them from the IRS. And unfortunately, people just get a slap on the wrist when the people at the IRS or at McKinsey that work at McKinsey for the IRS release 15,000 tax returns. But anyways, that information is out there. Sadly, it is. So they get your information. They file a tax return as if you were you, they were you. They file it first week of February, last week of January, as soon as the IRS starts letting filing go. The computers at the IRS are geared towards getting those refunds processed quickly the earlier they're filed because they know the onslaught's coming from the procrastinators on April 15th. So the computers send that money to the bank account that was filed on that tax return. It wasn't your bank account. And those people who are filing that take that money out of that bank account quite quickly and disappear. And they get a lot of money that way and never get caught. So if the fraudsters know to file their tax returns early, your tax return on your behalf for their benefit in late January, early February, there's a reason. Because they're getting that money quickly and they're getting your money. Now, I mean, when that happens to our clients, we're able to eventually get their money. And unfortunately, the government just sucks up the loss. I mean, it's billions and billions of dollars each year. I hate that, you would think. And hopefully, as the IRS institutes AI, they're going to get better at stopping that stuff in the beginning. Another way you can avoid that, by the way, is get yourself a taxpayer PIN. Maybe we can walk through in one of our other episodes, or just look up how to get a taxpayer PIN from the IRS, an identity protection PIN. You can get one from the IRS. They send you a new one each year. They send it out by mail. And unless you have that PIN, no one can file your taxes. That's a good practice. But anyways, the point is, the sooner you file your return, and if you file electronically, the sooner you can get your money back.
When you go to a doctor, they're going to ask you a series of questions to get a better understanding of your health. That's the simple process of anything when you're trying to solve a problem, is you have to understand what the problem is. And so at Revo, we've developed a tax assessment tool to help you diagnose exactly your tax problem. So if you go to revotaxpayer.com, you will find a link to our tax assessment tool. There, we're going to ask you a series of questions on your specific situation, and we're going to give you an assessment score. We're going to see how healthy you are. Then, once we see how healthy you are, we can help diagnose and prescribe you some solutions to the problem you've been facing. So go to revotaxpayer.com and search for our tax assessment tool, and we look forward to serving you. There's so much we could do. Just stop overpaying the government. And there's some people who can't they just can't file early. Like a lot of our higher net worth people, they're involved in a lot of stuff. It does take 8 months for all these documents to roll in. You're waiting on other CPAs to issue K-1s. You're waiting on a number of things. And so there's a lot of clients who just can't file early. But for you W-2 earners who get your W-2s in January or early February, you get your 1099s, you get your mortgage statement, you're going to get your K-1s. If you invest in our oil fund, we're getting our K-1s out by March 1st. And so we are going to be trying our hardest to get our K-1s out as soon as possible because we want our clients to be able to take their IDCs and take their loss and get that money freed up and move on down the road and tax plan for the next year. So don't let that money sit out there. So we know some people just can't, and you just do the best you can on the timing. But even I still have some people who get all their documents and wait 6 months because they're like, they don't even want to do it. But we've had clients. There's a testimonial on our Google that I love. He's like, I cannot wait till next filing season because he had such a good experience with the outcome.
Yes.
We saved him so much in tax, and he did not change his withholding, so he just got this huge refund. We reduced he invested his money into a tax advantageous appreciating asset, reducing his tax bill at the same time. He got all that refund back, and he's like, I'm doing this every year. Like he's excited to file every year. And that is, if we can convince the majority of the people listening that filing a tax return, if you have your documents in order, it is a good thing. It is a fun thing. I would argue it is really fun to receive money. Yeah. It is really fun. And especially if you planned and you worked hard for it and everything is tight and buttoned up, it is fun and we need to do it quick. And that's...
Yeah, I mean, it's your money. We have clients, though, year after year, because generally it's K-1s, right? They're invested in partnerships that we have no control over, that they don't get their K-1s till way late in the year, and they can't file on time. And they're getting W-2 pay. So they got withholding payments going to the federal government each and every year. A lot of those clients we've been able to convince to adjust their W-4s with their employers and get that money during the year. And then they just maybe get $1,000 refund or pay $1,000 when they file their taxes. The power of that, think about this. It's the time value of money. If, like I was joking, if you like giving tax interest-free loans to people, to the IRS, please give me an interest-free loan. If I have your money for free for a year, I'm going to make some money on that. It's going to grow for me. I don't have to go work hard to make money. I put it in an interest-bearing account or I put it in an investment. I make money off of it, and then I give you your money back. You can be doing that. That's life-changing. That's one of the secrets to building generational wealth. Let your money work for you. It doesn't work for the federal government. That's the one place the money goes to and it just disappears. It's not working for anybody, except the fraudsters, I guess.
We're taking measures in our firm. So like right now, we're kind of in a lull. Most of our tax preparers are in a lull.
Yeah.
So what they're doing now is they're looking at our client list. We're already looking ahead to February and March filing. So we're like, okay, here are our big clients. Here's our client base that we can serve now on the tax return. We can roll forward work papers. We can roll forward a bunch of things on a tax return from 24 and get it going for 25 and basically have the outline for the 25 tax return done. And then as we get forms and as we get data, we just dump it into the foundation we built in our off season. So clients of ours, we're giving them a heads up and a leg up in the filing because if you give us financials, our turnaround time is quick because our team's working now on preparation for next year.
Or even gently reaching out to those clients that have always procrastinated, that's always hard to get their data, that generally have big refunds that come late in the year. Gently nudging them saying, hey, if you could change this, now's the time. Hey, holidays are coming up. Go hire that bookkeeper now, or let us review the new bookkeeper you hired's books and see if it's going to work. Do this now. I mean, some clients don't appreciate it. That's fine. But some are appreciating it, and instead of getting their refund in October this year, they're going to get it in February.
Yeah, they can get it a lot quicker.
Yeah,
and it's a little self-serving too for us to do that because the stress of our profession is. In kind of how this works is each senior or each accountant that we have is probably managing 50 to 100 clients throughout the year. Now, in tax season, they got to touch them all because we have to do extensions, payments, we're preparing them. So they're touching 40 clients.
And tax season really doesn't start till the last week of January, first week of February, when you can actually, the IRS accepts.
Yeah, you got 2.5 months.
Literally February 1st to
April 15th. And so during that time, they are trying to do their best to get all the details right, get the data correct, and then put it in the system, and then make sure we're maximizing everything we can on the tax return. So they're working both the data input, the planning, they're doing that for every single client. And if one client gets hung up saying, oh, I don't have accounting records, that throws a wrench into our guys. It takes hours we either got to link them up with the bookkeeper. We got to go through the financials ourselves, which is very costly.
Yeah.
So we are trying to reach out and plead with our clients that, hey, we know every year, this doesn't surprise us. Every year you have to file a tax return.
Yeah.
This isn't like a sneak attack from the government, like surprise taxes.
Yeah.
It's like, we know it's coming. Let's prepare now for it so we can get this thing across the finish line quick.
Congratulations. The work is done. The tax return's been filed. Your tax strategies have been executed. Nice work. We were in control of that with you as our partners to get this filed and take the tax positions you took, and we hope you're happy with them. The one thing we are not in control of is the federal government, the Internal Revenue Service. I wish we could control them. We have definitely made many attempts and mitigated your tax return and your tax filing in ways to reduce the likelihood of being audited, but we can't eliminate the risk. And truth is, some returns are just selected by lottery, whether or not you have any hard positions or aggressive positions on your tax return. But the more aggressive your tax return was, the more likely you will be audited. A lot of people think under this new administration, audits are going to go down. I wish that was the case, but the fact is they're incorporating some really good strategies, including AI at the IRS, to determine where people tend to cheat in the tax code. And yes, a lot of people cheat. We don't, you didn't, but because of those cheaters, there's a decent chance, and I don't want to fearmonger you, but you're more likely to get audited over the next 3 years probably than you were over the past 3 years if we're taking good, aggressive legal tax positions. So the problem is we're not in control of the IRS. If you get audited, it could take us 2 days to defend. It could take us a year to defend. Depends on how the IRS reacts, how reasonable they're going to be, who the IRS agent is, if they understand the law, if they're willing to be taught the law or not. We have no control over that. That's why we're offering this prepaid audit defense package that will cover 100% of our fees in the event that you are audited. We've put together a quote for you based on your exact scenario for both your federal return and if you file state returns for those as well. Consider it. If you prepay it and you get audited, you've got a 3-year statute of limitations for federal, generally 3 to 6 years in the states, it depends. But you could sleep well if you prepay for it. No matter what, if you get audited, we're going to come and defend our work, your strategies that we came up with together. If not, we're still willing and very, very able to defend. But because we have no control over how these audits will come out and how long they might take, we will bill you by the hour. Happy to do that. But if it helps you sleep better at night, please consider the audit defense package now. That doesn't speak to your heart and your common sense. Take pity on your CPA. Here's what our team is doing all the month of January, twiddling their thumbs, just knowing the wall's about to hit them and crush them come March 15th. Please take pity on them. Get your stuff in early and get that refund early. You'll become their favorite clients if you reach out to them in the second or last week or third week of January and say, hey, I want to get my stuff filed soon and get my refund. They're going to be like, let's go. And they're going to turn your tax return around instead of 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like it happens in March and April. They're going to turn around in a few days and you get that money back quick.
Yeah.
Do it, please.
Yeah.
Take pity on us.
So that is definitely where I would start. If get all your data. So as the W-2s and the 1099s start coming in the mail, you could pile them up. You know, we also don't like just a bunch of scatter shooting of your data. Like here's one 1099 and then 2 days later, here's another. Oh, here's my W-2. Also compile your information. And as you get the majority of it, you can give that to us. Because every time you send data to us, they got to stop what they're doing, look at it, file it in the correct document.
See what else is missing, if anything else.
Yes, and so it's constantly picking up and putting down your account and your file, and it's very inefficient and stressful.
Here's another tip. If your CPA bills by the hour, like most CPAs do, and we used to, but if they're not flat fee like we are, every time you stretch out and just send them one document at a time, it's taking that accountant more
Like 15,
time
$20
to
probably.
do the extra, to do your tax return. And it's raising your fee up. It's costing you more money.
That's why I like our flat fee. We reduced that barrier of communication and emails. That used to be,
That's what we do.
people would email us and then we'd have to charge them $20-$40 for a response in an email. It just felt cheap. It's just kind of like, and
Well, and
I want to
also,
serve people, and
our clients wouldn't email us because they didn't want to get that bill, but they made a big decision that ended up being terrible for tax. And we're like, no, that's not the point of our relationships. That's why we went to, one of the big reasons we went to flat fees.
So it's been great.
Yeah. I'm going to throw in one other tip here on refunds and paying your taxes. If you don't normally get a refund, if all this stuff we've been talking about sounds like theory to you because you always have to pay a lot of tax at the end of the year, think about this. It's January. You have a whole year ahead of you to do some tax mitigation strategies and planning. You can take ownership of your tax. I don't care if you're a W-2 only taxpayer, if you are a gig worker, if you have a small business, if you're a partner in a big partnership and have no control over your distributions. There are things you can do to mitigate your tax, grow your financial freedom, keep more of your hard-earned money, and then you'll understand what we're talking about this refund and getting it early. So start now, January 2026. So in February 2027, you are getting your first big refund. It feels great. Again, Kevin pointed out, go look up on Revo Taxpayers Google reviews. And we have a great testimonial from that one client who finally came to us and saw the light and saw the power of actually taking control of his tax strategy and working with us proactively. Now he gets big refunds every year, and his net worth is like tripled, right, in the last couple of years.
It's done great.
Instead of going to the federal government.
Yeah. So hopefully this resonates with you, and you might be wondering what your next step is. Well, the first step would just be reaching out to us, and we can kind of lay out a plan for you. It is kind of daunting to understand all of these concepts that we talk about week in, week out on hidden money, but we don't. The whole purpose of our podcast is really just to let you know there's more out there. We don't need you to know all the details in this as we go. That's our job. Our job is to present to you the details and that you know there's things you can do and change to better your financial future. So the best place to start is just go to revotaxpayer.com. You can go schedule a consult with one of our team members and she'll chat with you, see if you're a good fit with us. And we'll just I want to know what your problems are. What problems are you facing? Are you always filing late? Is it always a scramble? Is it always stressful? Why? And how do we solve it?
Or you just paying a ton of taxes and you know there must be a better way and it hurts every year when you see your tax bill. Change that fact. Start looking forward to April 15th. It's truly possible. I promise you it's actually possible. This is not fairy tale dust. This is true. Change your facts. Change your tax. And if you're not ready to reach out to us for a consultation or you really love the person you're working with, your current tax advisor, you're paying them. Get them to do this work for you. There is hidden money in the tax code. Like and subscribe our podcast, please. We're going to constantly throw out these tax plans. Share them with your tax advisor or your CPA. And if they don't want to help you, go find a tax advisor that will. We certainly would love to at revotaxpayer.com.